This poem is free. This poem is free, but you may have paid to hear me read it. This poem is sovereign. It has no birth certificate. It doesn't give a damn that it has no form. This poem wasn't written for you. It wrote itself. This poem has no 3-minute rule. It wasn't written for the slam, and it doesn't give a damn about the score. This poem doesn't care that it is political, and this is an erotic reading. This poem refuses to be porn on paper. This poem doesn't care about your sex life unless you're taking it to bed. This poem has a complicated relationship with its 9 to 5. This poem doesn't care about Jesus. This poem wants to know why you turned your back to your ancestors to follow your oppressor's religion. This poem doesn't care if it pisses you off. It prides itself in controversy. This poem intends to trigger your critical thought. This poem thinks you should turn off the idiot box and read a book. This poem doesn't care about Kate and William, Bill and Hillary, Michelle and Barack, or Ben and bleeping Jerry as far as that matters. This poem doesn't care about who you marry. Once the knot is tied, it's your problem, deal with it. This poem does not care that it makes use of profanity. This poem thinks there's nothing more profane than poverty and wants to get paid. This poem is horny and wants to get laid. This poem is for adults only and not for your kids. This poem has arthritis and wants to move to Cali for medicinal weed. This poem is not the one written by Muta Baruka and won't go on and on and on and on in your mind. What happens in this poem stays in this poem. This poem is a bad mother. This poem is free. Alafia. My name is Baba Ngoma Osayemi Ifatunbishe.
Peace. Peace. Good afternoon, world. It's your boy Jasun with another episode of Poems and Passion. And I'm feeling pretty good today. I hope all of you guys are feeling good. If you don't know, you about to find out. We got a phenomenal guest today, Ngoma Hill. Really just like a father to modern day poetry and spoken word. So it's an honor to have him. I'm going to try to pick his brain a little bit and just get in, but mostly we're going to kick it and hear some poems and passion from him. And that's what's up. So I've been doodling a little bit lately, and I'm going to just break the ice with this quick poem real quick. Take a look around. Even Stevie doesn't have to wonder. Understand we don't stand under, stand back and stand by. You don't need to see to understand lies. Just close your eyes and take a look around. 2020 should have given you perfect vision. So turn your prison into a prism. You don't need binoculars. It's the third Oculus to the second coming. Don't act like it's the first time you saw it. Wooden frame noose hanging there just like the truth. Erected January 6, 2021 in the west front of the U.S. Capitol. Underneath that bleached dome. Now close your eyes and read the rest of this poem and take a look around. See that knee in your neck? There's a knee in my paycheck. I felt that knee when I went to school. I used to feel that knee in my neck like I was raised to be a fool. But I took a look around. Out on the block selling knees in your necks. Smoke this until you can't breathe. On the ground crying, dying for your mama. Let's call it George Floyd. Call it my neighborhood destroyed. Call it opioid and bag stamp Black Panther. And if death is the answer, then stop asking questions and take a look around. Just take a look around, y'all. Hey, that's an unedited piece, man. Just something I've been doodling, man. And feeling all right about it, man. You know, I'm feeling all right about our freedom, man. I'm feeling all right that we're here to be able to do this show and broadcast to you, man. I feel all right about the love that's in my life and that I do see in this world, because love is the answer. And with that, man, I'm completely loving the fact that we have none other than Baba and Ngoma Hill today. And world, just show them some virtual love, and then Ngoma, say hi to the people.
Hi, people. How y'all doing?
That's right. That's right. I hope you guys caught that clip of him just now. But and Ngoma, you know, for those, I know all of us poets know who you are. But there's some of our audience that's new to the poetry world and stuff like that. So maybe you could just tell them in your own words who you are and what you do.
Wow.
I know that's a lot.
Hold on a minute. No, I'm gonna do it in a poem. But it wasn't one I had planned on doing, so you got to give me just a second.
Hey, no problem. No problem. And for those that don't understand what's fully going on right now, like Ngoma is like, he plays I believe it's like 12 instruments. He's been a performance poet for like, man, almost 50 years. He's an author. He's a paradigm shifter, and we're gonna get into some of that too, man. And so that was really a tough question. Like, you can't just ask Ngoma, like, what do you do? He's like, where do I start? You know, with this list. But he's warming up. I see him getting it together, and I'm just gonna be quiet and allow him this space.
Sorry, wrong track. Here we go.
Cool.
Music is my essence. It started with the rhythm of the downstroke, the yin and yang of love, creation of heartbeat in the womb, first smack on the bottom, the dissonant melody of my first note, the song of my cry, Gospel music harmony was my ear training, bass line tattooed on my umbilical cord, wiggling my toes to the backbeat. Music lessons on my mother's knee. She was a Sunday school pianist. 7 was the magic number, captured by the riddle of the fiddle. It was my first string thing. Music notation became a second language. In 6th grade, a flute joined the family, followed by a keyboard and a cello. High school brought my baritone horn to the marching band. Civil rights sit-ins and anti-war love-ins birthed the age of folk music. But freedom songs brought me a guitar, minted by Odetta, whom I later met, and Nina vicariously. Bob Dylan and John Lennon in rotation on my turntable. Doo-wop on the corner and basement quarter parties. Jazz came late at night, caressing my eardrums in defiance of my size. Finally large enough to rock an upright bass, riding the A train to a night in Tunisia. Then came serious business, serious music for serious times. Just 2 voices and a guitar, from Central Park to Madison Square Garden, London, Germany, and Paris. Our songs embraced the earth. Kissed by New Age music, surrendering to the Yadaki's healing sound. Didgeridoo is a misnomer, just like jigaboo. African rhythms took me on the journey. Congas, Shakere, Mini Bata drum, Mali to Memphis, Benin to Brooklyn, deep South African banjo strum. My music teacher told me it's the music that keeps us young. So what's up, man?
Yeah, man. I'm digging it, man. You know, and I love that as an answer. You know, you had me thinking about you had me thinking that music is almost like a spirit. And then I started thinking about you personally. And I started thinking about your I am poem. I am. And I almost started thinking about you like as a spirit. And the spirit, not just the spirit that I've received from you, but like, you know, I hope I'm not telling on you right now, you know, but like you were like, you're like that timeless cat, you know, you've been here doing poetry in this particular lifetime.
Yeah.
For how many years now?
Over 50.
Salute. You know, and it's funny because Frank, Mr. Wonderful Brady, just chimed in and said salute to the legend. You know, and that was like perfect timing. He's talking about you, of course. And
Miles say a legend is an old dude with a cane, and people talk about what he has done, but I'm still here doing
it. That's kind of the point I was getting at, you know. And I think it's amazing, you know. I'm not gonna ask, and I'm telling you, you're like a cat that I could never figure out how old you are. And I almost feel like I don't need to know, you know. But I just could you just share or touch with us just at least briefly on how it is just seeing the changing of the times and still being relevant?
There is so much of the past that people don't know about, and they need to know what was going on before them and realize that they didn't just start none of this shit. It's been ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. So a lot of people, especially these new cats that come on the scene, just because they're doing this, they act like they started it.
Right.
But the question is, when you hit the stage, do you have any information that you're giving people? Do you inspire them? You know, uh, do you make them happy, or do you make them sad, or what is your purpose? Why do you do it?
Mm.
You understand? Are you doing it just because like you like the girls? Oh, you're so nice and blah blah blah. You know, or some people, those few spoken word artists that are actually making money. People are so busy trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that a lot of times it takes away from the. A lot of times they don't talk about stuff that need to be talked about because they're worried about whether they're going to be paid or not.
Mm.
When that is what your purpose is as a poet.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's funny because I read in the Bible that it's funny that you say that because in the Bible it says that your gifts will make room for themselves. And the translation I got on that was when I asked a little deeper, is that if you walk in what you're supposed to be doing, your needs will be taken care of. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And but where does all that tie into like one's purpose?
It all. A
Or
lot of
how does one find their purpose?
a lot of
Should I
people don't. You have to search for it. You know, you have to look within. You have to look within. You have to look outside of what you know. You know, you need to have some knowledge of the past, and then it'll give you a better idea of what you should be doing now.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, of your past, then you're kind of lost. And there's no reason to be lost because there are tools available for people to find out. You know, for example, I kind of want when I was in college, some of the courses that you can take now and get degrees in, it wasn't available. They weren't available to me. We actually took over a college and did sit-ins to get them. This is a historically black college too, to get them to have a black studies department.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm talking like 1968, and that was going on even up here, like at Hunter and at CUNY, the CCNY in the city. They were the students were picketing and sitting in and taking over classes and buildings and that whatnot to get them to have black studies. So black studies wasn't available to me. Jazz wasn't available to me. I attended Virginia State University, which was Virginia State College at the time, and I majored in instrumental music education. But I couldn't major in jazz. There's a brother, he's passed now. He used to play with Pharaoh Sanders. His name is Joe Bonner. And me and Joe and some other cats had this group, and we say we was doing avant-garde jazz, you know. And the music department said, y'all can't go out in the community and make that noise and say y'all represent Virginia State University.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh.
Yeah. So, you know, so you know, that's just to show you how far we've gone, and although we've gone through civil rights and Black Power and all that, we still ain't free. Now we back. Now we at Black Lives Matter. You understand? We keep going in circles. We don't evolve.
Mm.
So the question is, how can we evolve instead of revolve?
Mm-hmm.
You want to make a revolution. I mean, you want to go in circles. You want to revolve. We want to evolve.
Yeah. Eventually, we want to stop being like the dog chasing his tail. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and I find myself getting a little upset sometimes that like racism, discrimination, and prejudice has become such a norm, right? That it's become such a norm. Like sometimes we don't even realize how used to it we are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what's interesting now is the fact when after the Trump era, what's interesting is the wolves have come out of the bugs have come out of the woodwork and it's out in the open now. Now it's in vogue to be racist.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
My God.
For white folk, it's in vogue, you know.
So it's like, what do we do now? How do we stop that revolution and flow into evolution? Like, it's gonna take all of us. It's gonna take everyone.
Mm. Yeah, it will. Everybody has a role to play.
Yeah.
Um, I spent a month in the People's Republic of China studying United Front work.
Mm.
Okay, I want
Mm.
to register with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and while I was there, I was asking them how they organized, to build the fronts that they did to beat the Japanese. And what they said is that they had to organize everybody. Everybody's got a particular role to play. And once they know what that role is, if they play it, boom, you got it. But we don't know that we got roles to play.
Mm.
So it's but we do. The problem is that modern society has set us back thousands of years.
I agree. I mean, it's like we're almost indoctrinated. It's almost like,
No,
I
now we
mean,
almost now we almost are. We are.
yo, I get it, man. We're real comfortable, where we're at, just making it, having a couple dollars in our pocket, just a couple too, just enough to go to the club and do it all again. It's like there was a rap song that said, you know, what, spend my whole check and get it back again or something like that. Get it back again. Like, just living in a cycle. It's like they kind of got it pretty mastered.
Yeah, yeah. Indeed. But
And yeah,
realize though that things are changing all the time. So I have hope that things will get better. You know, Biden is better than Trump.
that's a great statement in itself.
But you know, Alfred E. Newman would have been better than Trump. So
My God,
it's not really
my
saying
God.
it's not saying too much.
But I do have hope. I do have hope, and I see glimmers of hope everywhere. I don't want to paint it like we're not doomed. We're far from doomed.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, but it's like we gotta tap into our souls and unite with love. I'm a firm believer that love is going to pull us out. You mentioned that the roles that everyone has a role, and pulling us up as a society, and that kind of brings me back to like what we were saying about purpose, um, and I think you said it pretty clear that you have to know where you're coming from and refer to the past. But like, how important is it for someone to like really find their role or find their purpose and just for themselves?
If you don't, then you kind of lost. And there are a lot of lost souls in the world. But the question is, what your destiny is, and whether or not you have the wherewithal or the thought to change it, because you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. But
Yeah.
if you just do it, but people don't realize, oh, I can't do that. They find 50,000 excuses, So, but I think the Black Lives Movement did a lot to bring the struggle back into focus, and Trump has brought it even more into focus because these white supremacists are beginning to act like white supremacists. You understand what I'm saying? and you got, and you and you got them talking about, on the news now they're talking about, okay, well, the government per se or whoever has got to find some kind of way to squash the growth of these people. And I say, yeah, well, you know all the time what the state of affairs, and you ain't do diddly squat. So now you're in an uproar. So yeah, okay. But on the other hand, that uproar is going to create. There's got to be some resolution to the contradiction. That's what moves us forward is resolution of contradictions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing, and then I'm also like, what are we gonna do? How much do we leave it up to the government to? And that's why I think us poets, have a part, to awaken the people. I heard you had said recently that it's like a poet's job to stay with the times and kind of report, the current state of affairs and in society and within ourselves and stuff. How important is that to you?
Well, we come from a griot tradition or a jolly tradition as an African, as well, not just as poets, but every culture has an oral tradition. But the culture that Africans come from, the oral tradition, the person that does that, he's called a jolly, a DJELI, or griot, although griot is a French term. And it's his job to keep people abreast of what's going on and to tell the story of the people. That's his job. Now, some people do it in poetry, some people do it in song, some people do it in comedy, but it's still the same damn job. And that's what your job is. If you're one of these things, if you're a poet, you call yourself a spoken word artist, or you call yourself a comedian or an actor or a musician, then your work has to have some kind of purpose. What's the reason that you're doing it? Are you doing it just to make people shake their butts? Okay, I'm not saying you shouldn't shake your butt, but if that's the case, then give me a lyric that I can remember, or something that I can grow from, and I can shake my butt at the same time if you're funky.
Yeah. And speaking of a lyric, I'm sitting here thinking in the power of what you had just said. You said we went from Black Power to Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And some of your statements really have to sink in to get it, but I thought about that, and it's like, wow, what do you feel the difference is between, if there is any to you, between Black Power movement and the Black Lives Matter movement?
Black Power movement was talking about power for Black people. They were talking about self-determination. A lot of times they were talking about a nation within a nation. And so I won't go into what Black Lives Matter is talking about, but they're not talking about self-determination. They're talking about self-respect, but they're not talking about self-determination.
Mm.
And they're not talking about self-defense.
Mm.
So that's what the difference was. The Black Power movement was talking about self-defense. They were talking about self-determination, self-respect, and self-defense.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get it, because it brings me to the point that, like, we had a lot happen to us as the Black community this past year, between George Floyd and just everything, even the rhetoric that was being promoted by Donald Trump and the things that was being said and going on at his rallies. If the Black Power movement was still in play, I could honestly say a lot of stuff wouldn't have happened or played out like that. But then you had a violent riot at the Capitol by white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, he's got that term stand back and stand by, but I don't think we would have stood by for too much of that if we would have been a little bit more organized and self-determined and self-actualized and self-realized,
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know that was a bold statement, but I definitely like to hear another poem or two from you if you got one for us.
I always got poems, man. But you kind of I had like 2 or 3 things I was gonna do, but now you got me want to do something else, but it'll be okay. I'll do another poem after this. Oh shit. Sorry, I thought this was hooked.
It's all good, Baba.
So this is a 3-string cigar box guitar. When Africans were brought here and made into slaves, servants and whatnot, they couldn't bring the instruments with them. So they made instruments out of whatever they could. And one of the instruments that was kind of popular was a 3-string cigar box guitar. This one's got a pickup on it, so it's electric, and they didn't have electric, but they rocked anyway. Now, one of the things that's interesting is if you go to the blues club, all the people that you see singing the blues is white folks, and everybody in the audience is white, and none of them realize that we brought our music with us. So the music that they call bluegrass, we brought that. And the blues, we brought that. And all the other kinds of music all the way up, we had some kind of influence. This is didn't come on the Mayflower, came on the good ship Jesus. I'm a start to Tilda, Henrietta Marie, chain bound and shackled, Gory Tillamina Castle, Hopper and tobacco, cotton and manila. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. Well, we sing my blues to sing my blues. Stopped on Evo Landing, try to walk on water. I'm a runaway, I'm a renegade, I'm a son of a dusty daughter. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. Sing my blues, to sing my blues. Denmark, Fiji, and Charleston, Navy of the Maroons, Nat Turner and John Brown, Harriet Tubman, freedom bound. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues to sing my blues, to sing my blues. We're from sun up to sundown. Black babies sold by the pound. Ancestors buried in hallowed ground. You ain't paid your dues. 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 Sing my blues, sing my blues. Work from sun up to sundown. Black babies sold by the pound. The whole world seemed like a big plantation. I'm just trying to get my reparations, 'cause you ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues. You ain't paid your dues to sing my blues, sing my blues. Yeah. So.
Peace.
Yeah.
You ain't paid your dues to sing my blues. How layered is that? You know? How layered is that? You know? Oh man, listen. I woke up in a world that didn't want me. So generations ago, they bought me. Overseas, then someone bought me from the auction block to the cell block. Them chains still haunt me. I woke up in a school that never taught me. I had some issues that screamed for attention, not detention, but faculty without the C, if they can't see, spells faulty. I'm sorry. You just brought that out of me and I couldn't hold it back. I couldn't hold it back. I'm sorry. You ain't paid your dues to sing my blues. Had me thinking on so many levels, man. You know, not just musically.
Yeah, I hear you.
Not just musically, you know. What inspired that?
I thought I told you.
You did.
When you go to the clubs,
Yeah,
blues clubs, we ain't there. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna steal this shit. We're gonna bring this back.
yeah.
So that's
Yeah, and I'm sorry because it really caught me out there. I took it real metaphorically,
yeah.
And I was just thinking on so many levels. Like you ain't paid your dues to sing my blues.
Okay.
You know, and listen, you know, there was some pain that went into the blues, some suffering. You know,
Absolutely.
you know, so man, thank you, man. Truthfully, man, I feel like we're getting such a lesson with you here today. I just wish you could I just shut up and just let you just like roll, you know? But yeah. Wow, I had to come back down from that one.
I promise you another poem though. Let me see.
Absolutely.
Yo, you want to hear some new shit?
Oh, absolutely.
New shit. This was more free flowing than I expected. I was like, okay, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. This is happening.
Yeah.
I've been working on a series of poems that I call the Corona Chronicles. But I don't have them on this. All right. I might not be able to read that for you. It's in a different space.
Okay.
Let me see if I got any of them. Interesting. Today's the day that Malcolm was killed.
Today.
The day that Malcolm was killed.
Today.
Wow.
I was totally unaware.
Yeah.
Blessings, Brother Minister Malcolm.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The poems that I thought that I had on my other computer, and I'd have to go get them. So I won't do that. I'll do something else.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Do-dee-da-you-dee. I hate to waste time like this.
It's all good. Time ain't real no how.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do a throwback. Throwback. So I'll take out back waves. Hate to break it down to you this way, but basketball is not revolution. And we need to end all confusion and disillusion and find a solution. But the sign in the Nike sweatshop in Jakarta says, just do it, while CC and Sadisa earn $1.85 a day as you play. Less than the cost of a Nike shoelace, forced labor in your face. Don't this, swish, swish. Give me a star on which to wish away this poverty. Exploitation is all I see. $11.10 for a 6-day week as we speak. Just trying to keep your family fed might earn you a sneaker upside your head if you're slow. Nike trips up on workers' rights. Forced labor with only 5 hours sleep at night. Don't even think strike or you lose your job, maybe even your life. The Nike commercial says, we let our fears stand in the way of hope. We sit silently when we want to scream, why? Why? Because labor activists have much to fear. Tortured, raped, or disappeared might be your plight. If you fight for human rights, like Marcina from East Java, dead loaded body floating in the Delhi River. You don't even think the government will stand up and deliver you from confusion. Hell no. Nike pays well for this collusion, and there's no hope of ever reaching the delusion of a finish line. Meanwhile, here under the stars and bars. Nike CEO named Knight, bankroll higher than a kite. Portfolio 4.5 billion, yachts and planes and company trillions. Still a pair of Nikes cost 3 months' salary for workers begging on their knees in Vietnamese. Yeah, I hear you're wondering, what's that got to do with me and you children watching the tube under the blood-splattered banner, red, white, and blue? Well, Nike earns $26 million a year just to let Nike use his name. Twice as much as shooting hoops, was incidentally his only claim to fame. Quietly playing ball because he's got no balls. But Nike pays brothers well not to show and tell. Besides, he's busy space jamming with Bugs Bunny, playing golf, making all that money. And as for Spike, he's got to have a $40,000 pair of seats and seats to the Knicks. So much for rehearsals. Hey Spike, take a leaflet, read about the workers' plight. I ain't got time. I'm trying to get a taxi for my wife while a 12-year-old takes a 9 to the dome, murdered for his sneakers while trying to get home. One more brother laid to rest, a bullet in his head and chest. Another brother candidate for the penitentiary gate, creating jobs for them redneck prison guards and the joint y'all get my point. So y'all can register and vote your fast as you can, but the robber barons lay the master plan. You know, candidates call him up on the phone, Grand Boulay and Skull and Bone. Over 33 degrees, keeping people on their knees. Old world money, a new world disorder. They think they can do anything they please. Watch out for these secret societies. Sneakers. Just do it.
Blessings.
Thank you, bro.
Were you getting ready to do another one, or you were finished?
I can. So,
sure. Do all that you want. Apathy, man. Apathy. There's so much apathy in that poem. You know, about, you know, from the position Michael Jordan is to the position of the workers and like everybody that just doesn't really, you know, give a damn about the next man.
The poem, all of the information that I had in that poem about Nike, there was a campaign against Nike for this slave labor things. And WBAI had some people from India and whatnot that worked in the sweatshops, and they were talking about the problems they were having. So I said, okay, that was interesting. So I called BAI and I asked them to send me information about it. And they sent me a packet about this thick of information. And all of the information that was in that poem was in the packet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I researched stuff. So here's something from the Corona Chronicles. The house is on fire. Sabi fan in flames. I got no tears left. There's a knee, a chokehold, 41 shots, a plunger, a hangman's noose, a new lunch hour blues. Death repetitively comes in circles like a hamster's wheel, over and over. And it's past time for us to stop, as there are tanks on the boulevards of America, police cars on fire. It's 2020 and 20 fake dollars and a knee on the neck of democracy, plus a pandemic got the world in the streets. When the politicians say there's no profit in a lockdown, so we gamble with death until the forced vaccination is ready. Everybody will be glad to take it. But I remember Jonestown, Dachau, and Tuskegee, Rwanda, and the Trail of Tears. I know what genocide looks like, so don't think I'm not so happy to see y'all. But this conversation been going on since 1619. Where the hell you been anyhow? I guess a few weeks of burning and looting finally got your attention. Plus, we need much more than the U.S. Congress taking a knee wearing kente, although it's now a part of the pageant and everybody's got a role to play. Malcolm said, by any means necessary, we're riding this freedom train till the wheels fall off. So get in where you fit in, because there'll be no peace without justice. The resident in the White House is hiding out on a bunker in the basement, building walls in Chocolate City, not Mexico, as we stand at the crossroads, begging Elegba not to trick us, as we pray for Ogun with his machete and Oya to blow the winds of change. So that's the Corona Chronicle.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. I like the way, but was that sort of like a prayer that you ended it in?
Not well, in a sense it was, but it wasn't intentionally a prayer. But yeah, in a sense it is, because I was for Alicia to come to help us. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. That's it's kind of deep, man. You know, and I really feel like this whole segment has been really deep. You know, there's been a lot of jewels. I hope everyone's been catching them. I don't know. Were you prepared to do another one, or I mean, because I don't want to stop you if you're on a roll.
Zoology, epigraph. What's the track to this? Wait a minute. Let's find the track. I can go all day, you know. I'm like, especially if I ain't got to do it from memory.
Hey, look, I said I was going to pick your brain on this interview, right? But I don't mind pulling poems out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Zoology, epigraph. The circus is in town. The circus is in town, and you never get out of town. The original Last Poets. Sundays, the visitors come on tour buses uptown, double park for blocks, soaking up space and gospel. Fill the offering plate, leave before the sermon, don't speak English anyhow. Theater of realities in the street, across 7th Avenue at the liquor store. T-Bone does the baboon, pants hanging off his ass, cracked out, toothless. Cameras, snap, snap. Lucy's, he mumbles. Got that cheap nicotine, real surreal it all seems. The American dream, can you spare some change? Life is a crapshoot. Give me a small down payment on the Triborough Bridge. Watch the natives do the hustle, selling stolen village voices for 50 cents. Smile, click, click. Next stop, Sylvia's, now owned by Japanese entrepreneurs who dissuade fear of a black planet. After all, Starbucks is down the street from the Apollo, just to make sure caffeine dreams are realized. The homeless man with the raccoon eyes opens the door, reaching for a tip since the stock market dipped. Street corner prophets proselytize, screaming about the devil. Jesus never called himself a Christian, but the Holy Bible says God made the devil too, so boo. We ain't scared of ghosts, not even holy ones. Pour a little liquor for the walking dead. There are offerings in the cracked plate on the altar by the bodega owned by Muslims on the corner. Just jazz and gibberish spoken here, no jive. Don't waste cash on the tour guide book. The jelly speaks in tongues.
Peace.
Yeah.
The theater of reality is in the streets. I love it. I love it because how true that is, man. You know? How true that is.
Autobiographical joint.
Oh.
It's called After My Year-Long Backpacking Trip Through Sunny Southeast Asia. Walking on concrete seemed really strange. Trying to sleep in a bed was weird too. Seemed like it was too soft. It was still hot in Virginia in September, so at least I wasn't shocked by the weather. But buses backfiring had me wanting to duck for cover. Labor Day fireworks didn't help much either. I wasn't working yet, so with time on my hands, wooded parks were quite comforting. My boys had supplied me with a steady diet of revolutionary literature, and the camaraderie of the brothers in Nam had me thinking a revolution was about to jump off. After all, the last poets and Black Panthers were all in the news. Jag or whoever had declared them dangerous. Red, black, and green buttons and necklaces with black fists were popular too. I came back mad as hell with an itchy trigger finger, ready for the shit to jump off. Cambodian red and tabs of good acid comforted me, but otherwise didn't help the problem either. Nobody told me I was suffering PTSD. There was no debriefing, had me thinking there was some real black unity back in the world. My marriage was going to shit. Paranoia had me thinking everyone was an agent. After attending the Black Panther rally, I learned the feds were questioning my friends. The idiots paid me a visit to ask my opinion on revolution like I'd really tell them. I told them all black folks should move back to Africa. Having survived play coup in the Tet Offensive, I set out to make up for all the nookie I had missed. Good poontang is life affirming, and I needed to check daily to see if I was still alive. Trust was a bit hard to come by, so I set out to find people of like minds. Most of the homies were strung out on partying, and Skag was taking over the neighborhood. Even the offsprings of the black bourgeoisie nodded. The talented 10th mainlined. Not liking needles, I dodged the doogie bullet. Everybody else was strung out on Jesus. I was searching for Ogun, but this was late in the 60s in the Black Belt South, and he was hiding out not to be found. I thought about checking out the NOI, but I was too cool for that. I rocked bell-bottom hip huggers and a big afro. Bow ties and bean pies just didn't satisfy my style. Packed up my sky blue VW Bug, snuck off to Newark in the middle of the night, looking for the revolution.
You know, I must confer with you about the part about good poontang should be sought out daily. You know, I really, yeah, I really identified with that at a certain period of time in my life. Yo, amazing poem. But when you said that, I was just done over here. Listen, we're winding down. We got 3 minutes, of course. We'd love to hear more poems from you if you'd like. But I did want to ask in closing, is there anything that you want to leave our audience with that you find of uttermost importance, or just a seed that you would like to sow into the air?
Remember that in order for us to survive, we need unity and we need love. If we can just get those two things together, you know, we'll be good. And also remember that everything changes. So although things might seem bleak at the moment, they don't have to be that way. It's really up to us to change things.
I love it. Simple. Simple and plain, you know. And I feel like love covers a whole multitude. And I just offer that I'm learning every day about love, about change. And so I thank you. I thank you for your time today. I thank you for your poems today. I thank you for your wisdom today. I thank you for your energy, for your presence today. And I thank you for being who you are. You know, to me as a poet and in this poetry world, and who you are to the world. I salute and I thank you immensely. Would you like to close out with one more poem?
Yeah.
That would be dope. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry.
Take your time. Take your time. I feel like
poem from my Egun. In the Yoruba culture, an Egun is an ancestor. We do this poem for our ancestors. For Pauline and James, Carrie and Linwood, Celestine and Herman. For nameless Egun, lost in the middle passage. Strange fruit from Dixie's trees. Memory whiplashed in the name of Jesus. You will never be forgotten. Pickers of tobacco and cotton. Ditch diggers, gardeners, field hands and bricklayers, carpenters and dishwashers, waiters and chambermaids, hospital orderlies and workers with no unions, victims of 21st century slavery. For the homeless, the hungry, and the dispossessed, begging on subways, sleeping on sidewalks, chained and locked up. For new African freedom fighters locked down behind the wall, never to see the light of day. For the down-pressed with no redress. For the jelly and the griot, for the invisible ones, for the sons and daughters of Africa, Haiti, Cuba, Brazil, Puerto Rico. In every port, slave ships landed. Fear not, I chant this incantation for you. O Eshu, O Batala, O Shun, Ifa, Shango, Ogun, Oya, Yamoya. Please carry these prayers to Olodumare. We bring snail and she-goat, pigeons, rooster, guinea fowl, and yam, palm oil, sugarcane, lamb, and rum, never forgetting where we've come from. We bring catfish, honey, and salt, bitter cola, shea butter, and gin. We fling pennies into the wind. We come to take a stand and free the land. United and without fear, we come to take back what is ours. We come for the future. We won't forget the past. There's a trail of bones in the Atlantic deep. We come demanding retribution, for Ifa never sleeps. Ifa never sleeps, never sleeps.
Blessings. Blessings. Again, I thank you, man, truly. I think it was a beautiful segment. I think you really gave us a profound show, and my only regret is that we didn't have your Cash App up the whole time. Not that we normally do that,
Okay.
but you inspired me to think that as a possibility, like maybe we want to do that because what you did today was priceless at the same time. So I thank you. We're closing out with another session of Poems and Passions. We had Ngoma Hill today. Show him some virtual love. I hope he feels the energy. And again, I just thank you. Thanks
for having me.
Absolutely. Peace.
Peace.